cloud is a new territory for a lot of people. The example I've got is recently I tried to move all my pictures from iCloud to Microsoft's cloud. And what a pain. It was such a pain. It's not easy.
Seamless an experience, no.
Oh, man, right, that's one issue. The other issue is, I don't know if you ever tried moving your WhatsApp from an Android phone to an iPhone. Nightmare, absolute nightmare. I guess the point I'm trying to make is it's moving lots of data from one point to another point is very tricky for a number of reasons. First of all, the amount of data. Secondly, do you remove all the rubbish? So all these silly accidental pocket pictures I've taken, do I need to move those? Do you need to sift through your data to remove the redundant data or not? Or just transfer everything? But of course, space costs money. So that's one challenge, I think, and then the other challenge is, what do you move? Even though there is the whole data sovereignty thing, and even though we have data centers here in the UAE now, it's a decision about what do you move, which data do you move? I mean, a lot of organizations are moving their CRM data, their HRM systems to the cloud. But the other challenge is actually migrating from an on-premise, for instance, HR system to one that's on the cloud, right? That's another huge challenge. And in between there is going to be downtime. There is going to be new functionality that you need to train your users on. But also just the technical side of moving from on-premise to cloud. You need a whole new set of skills. Your existing IT department probably won't have those skills. They need to retrain, or you need to bring in other people to help to make that change. Yeah. And then the big thing that we see, and part of our bread and butter as Software AG, is what we do is integration. We help to connect information systems together. And of course, when you move some of your applications to the cloud, you've created a silo. You still need to, so for instance, if your CRM system's on the cloud, you still need to connect that cloud system to your on-premise billing systems, for instance. Of course. How do you do that, right? And that's another big challenge. Yeah, definitely. I mean, planning is key. I think step one should be have a plan, a unified plan. Yes. And by unified, I mean, not just, it shouldn't be a piecemeal plan. It shouldn't be one department going out on their own for just their own digital transformation, and then another department doing their own thing.
And is that what's happening, Vijay? Sorry to cut across you. Is that what you see happening, where it's different departments going on their own and then it's not unified? Is that what you're saying?
We see that a lot. I mean, Dubai government is a great example of a unified plan. The plan is set by the nation of excellence. Dubai and Abu Dhabi adopt that, and then all the Dubai entities adopt it further. So it's like a waterfall of this unified strategy that's set at the highest level that just kind of filters down to entity level, and that's the way it should be. So what do you need for that? This kind of plan, you need high-level exec buy-in. So if you're an organization, the execs, the leadership have to agree on a plan. And actually, there's a step before agreeing on a plan. You need to have a strategy and a vision. Yeah. That's relevant. And the plan needs to play into that strategy and vision. And then it needs to kind of filter down to each and every department. So the guidelines are set from above, and every department follows those guidelines. So I think that's the first thing. Have a strategy, have a vision, have a plan, and ensure that plan filters down. The other thing is also, what is a transformation? A transformation is especially a digital transformation. It's about moving from one point in time where a company is now, let's say, to a future or improved point in time based upon strategy and vision. Yeah. And you can't just, in order to make that where you are now to a future improved point, you need to know where you are now.
I think that's a good point too, just as well, Vijay. You've what you said, because there is some confusion between digitalization and digital transformation. I think some companies, do something that would be classed or labeled as digitalization, but try to brand it as digital transformation. But as you've just pointed out there, they're completely different. They're two different things.
Absolutely. And I think it's important to where you are now. An organization needs to define where they are. You can't improve a process if you don't know what that process is. You need to know what that process is. So I think that's really important, kind of blueprint, almost create a digital twin, a digital version of the company from a strategy perspective, people perspective, the processes that support the people and the strategy, as well as the IT systems that support all of that.
Yeah.
Once you know where you are now, then you can use that as the benchmark to move forward to that more improved place. No, that's a great question. Now, if you asked me that question about 4 or 5 years ago, I would have said you need to appoint a CDO, a Chief Digital Officer.
CDO.
Right? That's what I would have said to you. But right now, my view is that it should be the CEO. Everyone should have a digital mindset, or maybe have a CDO to set that digital mindset, but it has to be driven by the CEO.
It has to be driven by the CEO, yeah.
Digital digital has to pass through every single vein in an organization's anatomy, let's say. And for that reason, that's why I say it has to be the CEO. And everyone plays a part in this. The CIO plays a key role because part of a large chunk of being digital is technology based, isn't it? It's being on the cloud. It's having mobile apps that your customers can access. It's big data, AI, all of these kinds of things. So most certainly the CIO will drive that agenda, most definitely. But it has to be a joint approach. The chief sponsor has to be the CEO.
Yeah, that's fascinating. And just why 5 years ago would you have said CDO and now CEO? What's changed just because we've become so digitalized, whereas before you would have left that has to be a CDO and let the CEO focus on something else. But now, as you say, has to be driven by the CEO.
I think if you go back in time, it was a relatively new topic. Digital, what is digital? How do I become digital? You needed that. You needed that expert to say, this is how we start, this is what we do, this is how we move forward. We've got a very large government customer base in the UAE, both federal customers, Dubai customers, Abu Dhabi government customers. Government is interesting in this part of the world because, in my opinion, they're much more advanced than private sector.
Really? That's interesting. So they're a lot more advanced and progressive.
Yeah, definitely. Compared to the West, for instance, it's the other way around, right? Here, government very much drive innovation and excellence.
They do.
So because government already have that mindset, it fits really nicely into our products because we help to drive excellence and things like this. In terms of digital transformation, remember what I was saying to you about having a starting point and defining what your organization looks like from a processes perspective, for instance. All of a sudden, once you know what your process is, your key customer facing process, we've got tools that firstly help to define those processes.
They help you define the processes, okay.
Yeah, but then the tool goes much further than that. Once you have your, let's say, 10-step process, it helps to analyze each step of that process to find out where the bottlenecks are. So you can actually find out where the bottlenecks are and then put things in place to actually improve and remove those bottlenecks.
That's fantastic.
And so an organization builds up
visibility, really, as you say.
It's exactly what it is, that visibility. Because they do have that visibility, but normally it's in the manager's head. He or she, head of that department, will know all the issues and challenges that happen, and their staff come running to them. What shall I do? This has happened, and the manager will say, because he or she has got many years of experience, you need to do this, you need to do that. But what happens if that manager goes on holiday or changes jobs, or that all of a sudden that knowledge goes with them?
Yeah, exactly.
So what we're saying, grab that knowledge out of the manager's head and put it into a system.
Of course.
And then this system can be used as a launchpad for transformation as well, because you're pulling out the processes, the policies, the experience that this manager has. You're putting it into a let's call it a knowledge base or an enterprise management system that contains all the policies of your company, all the processes of your company, the IT architecture of your company. So now, instead of when someone's confused, they don't need to run to the manager. They just look on the intranet at this knowledge base to find out, what do I do next? This is what I do next.
That's fantastic. So that's their blueprint. Sorry, carry on.
Absolutely. So companies like Dubai Municipality, Smart Dubai Government, ENIC, Emirates Nuclear Energy Corporation, many organizations use this capability. Emirates NBD is the latest one that uses this capability. And the way they use it is very interesting, actually, because I think one thing I did not mention about digital transformation, why are organizations doing it? A big part of it is the customer and the customer experience.
100%. Oh, massive. Yeah, massive.
During COVID, the companies that survived and thrived were the ones that we as customers could connect to and do our day-to-day bits and pieces, whether that's shopping on Amazon or renewing your driving license, whatever it may be. Those companies that were already digital really thrived, didn't they? Look at Amazon's share price right now, right? Microsoft, it did that during the pandemic when most of them were kind of doing this.
Exactly. But that's a great point you made about customer excellence, because our tolerance levels for bad experiences as customers with applications, whether it be Amazon, whether it be Deliveroo, it's not there. It's non-existent. Our expectations have gone through the roof. So as you said, companies that weren't digitalized, they were in big trouble.
Yeah, true. And we have been spoiled by the Amazon, same day delivery. Even, when you order something from Amazon from the US and it says it'll be 10 days, it always arrives before. Yeah. Because they're very clever, but this is customer experience, because if I'm expecting something I need in 2 weeks' time and it arrives in 1 week, I'm really happy.
Delighted.
I'm over the moon, I've got it a week early, but that's just very clever customer experience management by Amazon.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So let me go back to Emirates NBD. So Emirates NBD used this capability to document processes, to actually document the customer experience. So I think that's really important as well. A lot of organizations only document their own internal processes, the inside out processes, rather than looking at the outside in processes, which is the journey a customer goes through in order to get a credit card, to apply for a credit card and things like that. And that's really important to look at that, and then to analyze and find out again, wherever the touch points are with the organization, that touch point, how is that experience for the customer? Is it a good experience? Is it a bad experience? Careem and Uber have got that down to a T, haven't they? Absolutely. Whenever we interact, they always fix the problem, and you're always thinking, what a great company. We've been around the block a few times, right? Software AG, we've been around since 1969.
Yeah. So that trust, the element of trust as well, don't you?
There's the trust element, there's the experience element as well. I just want to give you another example, actually. Smart Dubai Government. You've probably heard of this doing business in Dubai.
Yeah, I've interviewed Wesam Luta a few times for Smart Dubai. I'm aware of the program you're talking about. Yeah.
And again, if you want to open up a business in Dubai and you go through that app, there's a number of different entities you need to connect with in order to get your business license. So guess who's doing all the plumbing behind that system? It's Software AG. So we connect all these various different entities together. It's so that investors invest in Dubai. The investors that invest get their business permit as quickly as possible.
That's fantastic. And as you goes back to your earlier point where you say you connect the data, from anywhere. That's basically your mission statement. Doesn't matter where it resides. You guys are able to connect it from anywhere.
Absolutely. That brings me to the company strapline is one, if I can sum up what we do in a sentence, is we're masters at converting data to value. That's what we do. It's as simple as that, If all companies could do that successfully and in real time, they are digital. Customers would no longer be unhappy. You wouldn't be being transferred to different departments when you call an organization to complain about an order that has been delivered or what have you. You wouldn't even know, because they would have preempted a problem with the order and fixed it before you even had the chance to know something was wrong and pick up the phone and complain. And that's true with the company.